Question everything in pursuit of your purpose. Ask yourself, what if?
Thank you guys for joining us again for another live episode of the Pursuit of Purpose, What Are We Doing series. I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm going to let Chuck introduce our topic of discussion for today.
Thank you, Rob. Our discussion today is going to be, what is our language saying about us?
Yes. And we, for those of you joining us on YouTube or Facebook or any of those, forgive me, the little ticker I have not fixed yet, but I'm going to fix it while we talk. But
that man can fix a motor while it's running. He's a good mechanic.
So what is our language saying about us?
Yes.
And, we say words, we use words as though they're unimportant. We develop these habits of speech and saying these things.
Yes.
Like it doesn't really mean anything, like it's not all that valuable. But what we neglect the most, or it seems like what we neglect the most, is the impact that it's having on ourselves.
Yes.
We let these words out of our mouth with no regard for what we're actually doing to our own psyche, our own behavior, our own attitude, our own right now, our own existence.
Right.
Isn't that fascinating?
It is fascinating. Yeah, and I've probably said this on many of our programs, but I've noticed, being in the communication business, Rob, being a counselor, a lot of times folks will come in and they'll try to say a lot with just a word or two. Like they might use the word, well, things just need to change. I go, well, what does that mean? And they struggle because they don't really know. And I think that's part of where we have language breakdown, is we're not really sure. We're likely just parroting what we think we should be saying.
Yeah. And that's huge.
Yes.
We just, I'm a gun guy. And if you don't like that, bless your heart. But I love guns. I love firearms.
Yes.
I enjoy them. It's a hobby of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I consider my guns to be part of my family. In fact, I've got lots of them, and I've never sold one. I've bought them as gifts for other people, but I can still say that I've never sold one of my guns. And one of the fascinating things about guns is guns operate a lot like we do in this regard.
Okay.
The words that come out of your mouth act just like a bullet. You can't call them back.
Ooh,
once you pull the trigger and send that word downrange, whatever it's going to do, it's going to do, and it's done. But the other thing that's similar to that similarity between words and bullets is you're responsible.
Yes.
It's going to impact you because you pulled the trigger and the results belong to you, but it's going to impact everything downrange until it reaches its final destination.
The Bible obviously predates firearms, but it references our tongue as a sword, as a weapon. And so it kind of says what you're saying there. Like, my tongue, the words I say are similar in that it's a one-way trip. And it doesn't come back to me for a do-over. It's not how it works. And there's consequences.
So when I was coming up with this, the topic for today, thinking about this, and believe it or not, I actually spend quite a bit of meditation time and prayer time thinking about these topics for these weekly shows that we do. And in this one,
appreciate that.
There were some words that kept coming to mind because we use them so frequently, and they're unbelievably destructive, and we throw them around like they don't mean anything. And I'm going to give you guys some hints. And before we talk about those words, I'm going to issue this challenge that if you will take it upon yourself to simply stop saying these words, your life will change. I'm going to give you that challenge. And you can't stop it from changing just from stopping the use of these words. And the number one word, and we actually teach this in our practice when we do a leadership course or anything like that, where we're helping people and developing people. This word is one of the most destructive words in our language. And there are three of them that act similarly, but the first one is should.
Yes.
The word should.
Yeah.
You know, I challenge each of you, those of you in the chat on TikTok, thank you for joining us. Keystone, he says, I can't. Yeah, that's funny. Everybody loves to go to camp because, you know, can't's one of those
Can't.
Can't's one of those underperformers. Like it's a quitter's word. But today, like
Yes.
this word should.
Should.
We use the word should, shouldn't, should have, should, you know, all that stuff. And I tell people, quit shitting on me. I don't like the smell of it. You step in a pile of should and you can't get it off. You know, it's a mess. So
it's a mess.
the challenge I'm going to give you is to stop shitting on yourself. Stop shitting on your life. Stop shitting on those you love. Don't even shit on people that you hate.
Right.
And the fascinating thing about that is should is the least productive, least performance word you can say. It has absolutely nothing to do with right now. It has nothing to do. It is a word of quitter, a word of defeatism.
Yes.
And it's a word of judgment.
Yes, definitely.
It's an absolute word of judgment. As soon as you say you should have done this or I should have done that,
what they should have done,
then you've placed yourself in a place of judgment, but not in control. You've given away all control. You've given away all ability to impact the situation in a positive way. You've given away all the ability to create, and you've just placed yourself in a place of judgment. It kind of ties into the last episode we did about critics versus creators.
Oh, yes.
You've placed yourself in the position of a critic.
Right. And another word that comes to mind is also in a place of victim.
Yes.
I'm now a victim of what you should have. And that's not a healthy place to be. We don't teach that. We teach the antithesis of that. Be a victor. Try to find ways to create rather than judge. And now, are we going to be judicious? Are we going to be discriminate about things that work well and things that don't? Absolutely. There's always room for improvement.
Right.
But let's see if we can work that word, and there'll be other words on today's show, but let's see if we can work that word out of our vocabulary and find some better replacements. Maybe even use a phrase rather than try to hit a home run with one swing, and that is a word. Yeah, we do that so often. That's why I was talking about the word change earlier. So if I use the word should, immediately, like if I'm talking to a couple in counseling, immediately the one that's using that word just said that person has power over me.
Yep.
And then I get the joy of challenging that. Keep discussing amongst yourself when we get some coffee, friends.
So another fascinating thing about this, it when you say should, because it's a form of judgment, what happens after judgment is we then develop guilt and shame. And guilt and shame are inhibitors of creation. Guilt and shame immediately stop all progress. So when you use the word should and the concepts that support it, you completely dampen the ability to grow.
That's right, because guilt and shame is a disqualifier. If I'm going to disqualify myself, then I'm quitting.
Hey, Wickety Split, Kevin Bailey, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yes.
One of our very, very loyal regulars. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Kevin, just so that you understand, we're talking about language, the language we use, and what does it say about us, and what does it say to us? And the word should, we've been kind of harping on that one, but let's go on to its other two friends, its other two relatives.
Yeah, cousins.
And those are would and could. So should, would, and could. I'd like to challenge you that if it ends in OULD, it's probably not a productive form of language.
Right. Right.
Let's see. Wickety Split says, I feel you guys are very positive, spiritual people. Thank you, man. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
That is a very big compliment. We really appreciate it.
Sure.
Bilko says, are you guys twins? Man, if we are,
Woo.
oh, man.
I mean, Mama can't tell us apart.
No. But Divine Darling says, calling us all out. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil.
That's it.
So
that's the point.
Exactly. So when we use those words, those OULD words,
yes,
they immediately invoke shame,
Mhm.
guilt, anxiety, fear, and they stop growth.
Right.
So one of the things I wanted to challenge about today and to open up this show about our language is that we treat our language with respect, responsibility, and honor.
Okay.
That we make our words valuable to both ourselves and to everyone that hears them.
Right. That's like a muscle thing. I mean, you've heard the phrase mental muscles. Maybe what we're talking about using some of these lesser attractive words, that's more like mental weakness. And I've done it. I had to start catching myself, and also watching other types of words that I would use until they got pointed out. Especially preparing for a lot of our trainings, we had to be very honest and say, wow, I use that. I do that too often. And how often is too often? It's one time too many, because what I'm doing is I'm taking away somebody else's opportunity to be creative, to create maybe an adjustment or an alternative. Maybe they didn't perform well, and maybe they know it also. But if I help them come to that conclusion, wow, that gives them a chance to do better. Isn't that why we're here?
So I see some fascinating things going on in the chat. Hey, Blended Fam from he's or she. I'm so sorry. They're from Arkansas. Thanks for joining the show. Thank you for your comments. Thank you all for joining the show. Sammy, gentlemen, what are we talking about today? I'm new. Sammy, we are talking right now. Today, we're talking about the language we use, the commonplace words that we use day in and day out, that you hear used around you, and the impact that they have both on yourself and everyone they reach.
Yeah, what does it say about us, and what does it say about what we think of them?
And early in the show, we started out with the explanation, the analogy that words are like bullets from the barrel of a gun. Once you pull the trigger and send the words down range, you can't call them back. They're out.
That's right.
And words are a creative force that we don't even fully understand the impact that they have.
That's right.
Because we are Christians. I personally am a Christian. And in my faith, I believe that my God created this entire existence that we know with words.
He spoke it.
So with that being the case, and he created us in his image, with that being the case, that means our words carry enormous power.
That's right.
Creative or destructive.
That power is in us. That is right.
So with that in mind, we have the responsibility to truly act with responsibility and accountability about our words.
Right. That's right.
And the big book that we all believe in so heavily and build our foundation on, and ours is, right here. In that book, it says that we will be held accountable.
Yes.
For every word that utters from our mouth.
Wow, that's a frightful thought at times.
Can you imagine?
I'm not looking forward to that. That's for sure. But I understand the reason that I will be held accountable. I get that.
Well, Evan says it's hilarious people trying to have professional conversations on TikTok. Well, I mean, at least we could entertain you, Evan.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, Evan, this conversation is not just on TikTok. It's actually on a couple of Facebooks, X, Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. So I hope everyone's entertained. Denise says, be impeccable with your words. Yeah, I like that. Divine Darling, thank you for following us. We appreciate you.
Yes.
And Evan, you are definitely invited to stay. And the New Man Show says, these me act as God. These men, I'm sorry, he says, these men act as God. I don't act as God, and I don't believe Chuck does either. I want to emulate my creator and be more like Christ as much as I can every day.
Right.
I know that I am not perfect.
Right.
I will fail. I'm failing right now. Even as we sit here, it is not within my ability to live as a perfect man, but it is my desire to become more perfected every day.
That's right.
And I walk by faith, not by sight.
That's right. It is definitely our lifelong goal to emulate our creator as close as we can possibly get in our frailties.
Hey, Jay Listo, what's up? Thanks for joining us today. Actually, the New Man Show says that they practice sin. Well, that's actually a lie. We practice working against sin, our sinful nature, but we appreciate your input.
Right.
Let's see. Sammy says, amen, and thank you both for sharing and encouraging. We need more of it, especially men. Yes, I agree with that, Sammy. Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Chosen Squirrel says, can you have the guy in back unblock me on Grindr? He's a funny guy. Blendedfam.mom says, thank you guys for all your support. I appreciate all of you.
Thanks.
So
thank you.
Keep the comments coming in the chat. We want to address as many as we can. You struggle with sin. No, I don't struggle. I work against it.
Yes.
I don't consider it a struggle. I consider it an opportunity for improvement.
Mhm.
Denise says, where are you guys from? We're from Texas. We're from Southeast Texas. We're actually sitting right now in the heart of downtown Beaumont, Texas.
Mm.
And we encourage you all. We are working now towards opening our studio up. We're in a new location, and we shot a show last week. It was a pre-recorded show, but we did our first show with a studio audience. So if any of you ever find yourself in Beaumont, Texas, especially on a Tuesday morning, come on by because we'll let you sit in. We've got plenty of seating, refreshments, and we'll let you be a part of our live show.
Yes.
And yes, Kevin Bailey says it must be hot over there. Hot is the mild way of putting it.
Yes.
It's like an oven.
It's a real summer this time.
That's
Kevin.
right.
It is real, brother.
That's right. Evan says, so what's the secret, fellas? I believe in God, but one person freedom fighters is someone else terror. Well, I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, but I'll say this. It is true that throughout history, mankind has developed religious factions and manipulated religious practices in order to control each other.
Yes. Yeah. There was ill intent for sure.
And we don't practice those things.
No. No.
Jesus was not a man of violence or division.
That's right.
Jesus was the embodiment of love.
Yeah.
And I want to live my life as close as I can to being like him.
Right. And inclusion as much as possible.
Yeah.
Now,
He didn't accept everyone just be as you are. He
Correct.
challenged people to become the best version of themselves as possible
Correct.
and to become more like the Father, more like him.
One of my favorite things about Jesus is when people were struggling to adopt his principles, he let them struggle. He said, okay, like the rich young ruler. He said, okay, I tell you what, you want to follow me? You want my gift? You want my kingdom? Sell everything you got and come follow me. Boy, that hurt because that guy was wealthy, evidently, according to scripture, and he just couldn't see his life without all those things. Well, Jesus said, all right, I'm going to let you have it. You asked, and I told you. Now, he did not say what you should do. He said, do.
That's a fascinating thing. We talked about those three words that are so detrimental: the should, would, and could. Right? I would challenge each of you, if you consider yourself to be a follower of Christ, go back and look at what he taught and what he talked about while he was on this earth, and find out that he used that language. I mean, I know he didn't speak English, but through the translations, were there anything that indicated should, would, or could?
Imagine if somebody came, many of you are Bible students, and somebody approaches Christ with some question, and his answer probably never started with, well, what you could do is this, what you could do is that. There were no compromises. There were facts. And that's hard to attain and maintain. Trust me, as men, we struggle with that all the time.
Yeah.
But what a better struggle. That's why I don't worry about controlling other people. I hope I have influence on other people. That's partly why we go through the effort of putting this on the air, is to try to have the best influence. And your feedback is influence also. That's why we read a lot of your things. You can be influencing people for good as we speak. And that's our intent.
And I'll tell you this, Evan says, so did y'all sell everything? No, that wasn't the challenge to us.
No,
that challenge was issued to a specific person at a specific time for a specific reason. In fact, the number one thing talked about in the Bible, do any of you know what it is? The most discussed thing in the Bible. Do you know what it is?
It's about money.
It's about money. And it wasn't the giving up of money or the sacrifice of money. It was the correct use and value of money.
So the reason, if you study that part in passages, and that's not a parable, that's a true story according to documentation. The reason he told that young man to sell everything, because that was his hang up to glory. Yeah. There are people who make a lot of money who don't have a hang up about a walk of faith, and they do a lot of good things with their money. And we espouse a lot of the books that we read and listen to are about how to do that well, how to do that as mature people.
So thank you, Kendall, for calling my vest a creeper vest. I appreciate that. Kendall says, here comes the donate request. No, we ain't asking for your money.
No.
We want you to be engaged. We want you to be challenged and challenge us if you want to, but we're not asking for your money.
We even believe that you personally were born with a precious promise. And that promise is to be participated in. That's where your abundance will come from.
And the entire purpose of this practice, the thing that we do here, the We are here to help people find, pursue, and develop their purpose.
That's right.
We're not here to take your money.
No.
That has nothing
No.
to do with it.
Develop a good plan to not only acquire money, but how to do that better. Build your skills, and that purpose will fall into place.
Yes.
And I believe, because I believe that people are good at heart, that you will also find a way to be very generous and charitable with that money. I know we do. We give to a lot of things that are very close to our heart. And what a joy. What a joy.
So Crystal Rez says, are you guys brothers? No, we're not blood. We're not genetic brothers. We're brothers in Christ.
That's right.
Divine Darling says, I don't remember the exact scripture, but if I can recall, at least one scripture does use the word. Maybe it would be a translation though. And I would say that Jesus lived his life with purpose and action, deliberate action. And as such, he would not have been. He could not have been. He should not have been. I feel like Dr. Seuss. No, he definitely wasn't a person of those words of judge. Like he was a person of action.
That's right. That's right.
And those words are the
That's right.
opposite of that.
His lessons that he taught had probably a judgmental effect, but that was from the inside out, not the outside in. You know, now there are times when he did had to point out people who were hurting other people, albeit maybe some of the Jewish leaders of the day, and all he did was give them a chance to change their way. And I thank him, and I thank his Father, my God, that he gave me a chance to change my way, or I wouldn't be sitting here in a bask of joy.
So we're going to move on to a couple of other things that we use as language that are very unproductive at the very minimum.
All right.
But we really thank you guys for all your involvement, even if you guys don't agree with our position or our topic or whatever it is. I appreciate your engagement.
Yes.
So the next thing that I want to talk about as far as the words we use that are completely counterproductive, we, and I say we because I have been guilty of this in my past, we are so bent on categorizing everyone we meet, including ourselves.
Yes.
And I'll give you an example of this. We colorize each other.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you're white.
Yes.
You ain't white.
Right.
You're a lot of colors, but white ain't one of them.
According to common vernacular, I guess I'm white.
You're Caucasian, maybe.
Oh, there you go.
But why do we have to do that? Why is it so important to us as a species that we do? Why is that so important? Where does that come from?
That's a good question. What do y'all think? How did that become important?
And Evan says, because we're different. But why is it that because we're different, we have to categorize everyone and then be judgmental about them that they're not like us?
Wow. So maybe because we want them to be like us, but no, then that would take away the opportunity to complain and point out the difference. Man, I'm getting confused. How y'all doing with it?
Isn't that crazy? Like, what is the purpose? What do we gain by saying, I'm white, I'm brown, I'm whatever it is?
Whatever.
What is it that we gain from that?
Right.
What is the benefit of it?
Right.
So I've never been able to figure that out. And throughout my life, I have been involved in a whole lot of different programs and companies and organizations and events from where people from all over the world and all different colors, creeds, backgrounds, religions, faith practice, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I've always wondered, what is it that we're doing as a species by forcing categorization on each other?
What's the purpose? What's the point?
And yet I have never heard anyone be able to articulate the benefit of it.
Right.
Let's see. Divine Darling says, probably so we can feel better about ourselves. But the sad thing is we don't feel better about ourselves when we do that, because we point out these differences and then we act like the differences are what makes us less than or more than each other.
Right.
So it never works. If that's what it's for, to feel better,
yes,
it's counterproductive.
Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that there are people in our society today that complain about the fact that they think they're being perceived based on some color code, and that allows them to live in some state of, I guess you could say, less than or oppressed or I guess non-privileged. I don't understand that. I don't understand how, but they'll ask for that. They'll say, well, I am this, therefore I must have to experience this. Where's that written? I don't understand that. That's one of the joys of teaching the class we have, because I can guarantee you every class we've taught, every one of them have had this mix of what would be these divisive labels that people use. But I can tell you this, by the end of each class, there is cohesion in belief, because we all know what it really takes to be better tomorrow than we were yesterday, to make something of purpose of ourselves. And that has a regardless of any of the other color spectrums that people want to point out. So you're selling it to a crowd that's not buying it anymore, and we hope you're not buying it anymore.
So this leads into another one, and it says, Evan says, how are you better than you are yesterday? You mean were yesterday, I'm assuming. Well, personally, I believe I am growing day upon day, day by day, day upon day, because of my experiences. It doesn't mean that I'll always make better choices than I did yesterday, but I can't go backwards and unlearn the things that I've learned.
Right.
So I have the opportunity to grow, and I am so grateful for that opportunity. We
live very exponential lives, meaning I'm expounding tomorrow on what I learned yesterday, either by doubling down on the habit or by tweaking that habit. One of my favorite books, it's a good book if you want to look into it. I mean, we get nothing by endorsing it, is Atomic Habits by James Clear.
Oh, yeah.
And he teaches the 1%. If you do 1% better, either daily or weekly, man, you're on the way up.
Yes.
You're ascending. Now, I didn't mean to talk over you.
No, you're good.
My brother. See, don't we look just alike?
Right.
Mom would be so proud.
So my hair is running away from my head. I'll catch up with you. But so
I hope I find it.
Evan says you can believe anything you want. I'm not really sure what you're referring to about that, but I do agree with you that you can believe anything you want.
Yes.
I have no disagreement with that whatsoever. Let's see. One Rick 1969 says, I am an Israelite. I know what was given to my ancestors of the scriptures. Okay. Oh, he's talking to Denise X. Okay. I don't want to get in the middle of y'all's discussion. Y'all carry on. But so I'm going to move that discussion about our language into the next phase. And this will be the last part of this topic for today, because we're going to run out of time. But we take all of these things, the woulda, the coulda, the shoulda, and the colors, and then we use that language to as a foundation to say, I am this. I am, just as you guys were talking about. I saw some people in the chat talking about how they'd experienced poverty situations. I have too, myself, very, very much impoverished. But we use this language. We'll say, I am white, or I am poor. I am American. I am Mexican. I am ... whatever it is. I am this. I am that. When the truth is, I am a spiritual being having a physical experience, and that's all.
That's it.
Whatever else it is that we have going on, it's just the experience.
That's right.
It's not what I am.
Right.
I am simply a spiritual being having a physical experience.
Yes.
And learning as I go.
Yes.
Those things that I have, this body that I wear and these clothes that I wear are not what I am or who I am.
Right.
They are forms of expression and experience.
That's it.
That's all they are.
That's it.
So
it is my tool. That's why I need to take care of it. And it is an icon of expression. So if it is presented in a way that's mature, that is welcoming, man, that gives me more opportunity to influence people for good.
Crystal Rez says, lovers of self, says in the last days, people will be lovers of themselves. And that is true. That is so true. That is what the Bible says in the last day. And look at what we're experiencing right now in our world. We celebrate Pride with a whole month.
Yeah.
That's being a lover of yourself.
Yes.
That is completely
Right.
saying that I am going to indulge in anything and everything that feels good,
Right.
and I'm proud of it.
Right.
And damn you all if you don't agree with it.
Right. And to expound on that just a little bit, and thank you for that comment, that is lovers of self above lovers of God. And this may be a little bit complicated sometimes for folks, but I asked them, where do they rank God? And most of the people I talked to put him at the very, very top. And then, after Jesus and the Holy Spirit, I said, who's next? And then they often start naming their family. I go, where are you? And they can't find themselves. I said, actually, you should be near that top. The problem is I don't put myself above God. I put myself at the top, because every blessing that I get to give others comes from God through me. And if you think of yourself as a giver, you will not fail. You will win every time. But you have to you have to have something to give. That's part of that get better every day. That goes back to the question that was asked earlier.
Evan says, I would love to see these men go homeless and see if they have the same attitudes. Evan, I'm going to give you a little bit of information. I've been homeless. I've experienced that, and I have no fear of it, but it won't change who I am, what I am, or how I think.
Right.
It would only change my daily behavior because in response to the environment. So I hope you don't ever experience that, Evan. I really do. And I really, I find it to be a sad state of affairs that you would want someone else to experience that.
Yeah.
Think about what that says about you, Evan,
Mhm.
that's what you want for someone else. And Evan, I want nothing but blessings for you. And I
Right.
hope you're blessed. And I'm sorry you feel that way.
And I'm going to broaden that highway just a little bit, Rob.
Yeah.
So what I think I hear Evan saying is that I need to experience every possible hurtful, harmful thing, terrible thing that could happen to mankind in order for me to be empathetic. Is that what you're saying? So I need to have someone in my family murdered. I need to have, one of the ladies in my family be a victim of horrible sexual. I mean, you see where I'm going with this, man? No, I don't have to go through that to have empathy. I can relate. That's why I teach a class on loss. Now, most people that come have had someone die, but there's tons of different losses. And what they find is how multiplicable that those concepts of dealing with loss could be. Their health, could be a divorce. Of course, it could be death, but they did not have to necessarily go through death to have the same experience. So no, I do not believe that I need to live homeless in order to have empathy with homeless people and other categories as well. But if you think you do, if that's going to help you be a better server of people, well, then make it happen.
Evan, the truth is that, and Evan makes this comment, you don't know other men's footsteps until you walk a mile in their shoes, kiddo. Unfortunately, Evan, that's absolutely false. The truth is that you can't know anyone else's feelings or journey. You can't know how they feel, even if you put their shoes on and walk in them, because their perspective is still going to be built on their life experiences and how they see it.
Right.
It's not them. You can't be someone else, so you can't truly understand. I'll tell you this. My wife and I met, and this is very personal, but I'm going to share it with you guys. My wife and I met because we each had a daughter with cancer. We lost one of those beautiful girls when she was 8 years old. That makes us part of a very unfortunate and undesirable club.
That's right.
Parents who have lost children, bereaved parents. And I'm going to tell you something, Evan. One of the worst things that any human can say to a bereaved parent is, I know how you feel. And the truth of the matter is that even another parent who's lost a child can't look at another parent and say, I know how you feel, because it's not the same. You can't. Even if you had the same kid or a similar kid with a similar cancer, you still can't know how they feel. So never think so arrogantly that you can put on someone else's life and walk a mile in it, because you can't. The challenge is, and this is something that Jesus espoused, is that we are to endeavor to have empathy about how they feel and have care for them.
Yes.
Have compassion.
Yes.
For them. Not guilt, not shame, not judgment, compassion, built on empathy.
And part of his compassion was to not only teach them, but to inspire them to go find their best solutions. That's how people move forward from terrible experiences like what Rob and his wife experienced, is having something inside of us. It's almost indescribable, but to push me forward. I like to say to live with honor. because having lost a loved one, I'm sure just about anybody on our call today has lost a loved one. Hopefully not a child, but likely so.
Denise X lost her 16-year-old, and she says, "I have empathy for you, and I'm
Yes.
sorry
Yes.
you lost her." Same for you,
Yes.
Denise. Thank you for
Right.
sharing. It takes a lot of courage to talk about that.
That's right.
You know, I'm going to tell you guys something. No, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, this is.
But this is how Chuck and I met.
Yeah.
This is how we became friends. Over 20 years ago, Chuck was our grief therapist. That's how we met. Chuck was my wife and I's grief therapist. And through that process of grief therapy and learning how to cope and deal with things, adjust, we became friends. And through that friendship, we decided to go into business together, you know, this many years later.
All these years later. That's right.
So
That's right.
be careful, Evan, how you judge other people. Be
Yes.
careful telling other people that they're wrong.
Right.
You don't hear us saying that.
No.
I don't ever believe that I can put myself in a place of judgment to point my finger as such a small-minded person and tell anyone else you're wrong,
That's right.
unless you're talking about me, as if you know how I feel
Right.
or how I should, would, or could
Right.
behave. So I'll tell you what, guys, it's been a great show. Thank you so
Yes.
much for all of your input, all of your support, all of your interactions.
Yes.
We really appreciate it. Your engagement's been awesome today. Thank you so much. If you guys have any suggestions or questions,
Mhm.
be glad to help you in any way.
Right.
Please feel free always to send us messaging. We thank you for following us on TikTok, YouTube, subscribing to our YouTube channel. It's free. Following us on Facebook, anywhere you see us.
Right.
We appreciate you.
Right.
Thank you very much for
And-
being a part of our show.
And if you too are experiencing, you as well, something as heavy as, say, losing a child or some other, kind of very life affecting event, please seek help in your community. I know we have people from all over the country coming in. Let me encourage that. I can tell you as a therapist, and if you have a good therapist that you can talk to, or counselor, or caseworker, or coach, whoever that is, if you will know that person is good, because first they will accept you as you are, and then they will be encouraging you about what you will do differently about it. But there will be no judgment that you are. We don't get that privilege. I don't get to judge people that they are in a certain situation. It's not how it works. But boy, if I can encourage them to embrace it and do something about it. So please do not be shy to get help. It may seem like it hurts in the beginning, but I believe mature people know it will be better very soon, and better and better and better. Thank you.
So y'all, I hope you all are blessed out there. And we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday at 10 o'clock right here. If any of you happen to be in the Beaumont, Texas area, please don't hesitate, especially if it's on a Tuesday. But even if it's not, come see us.
Yes.
The address is 380 Fannin. We are right across from the historic Jefferson Theater
Yeah.
on Fannin in downtown Beaumont, right next to the Art Museum. We are in the only building in Beaumont with a clock tower, and we're at street level. So thank you guys, and be blessed, and we will talk soon.
Thank you.
Question everything in pursuit of